Biggie, we're back.
We are.
What are we doing?
I don't know, we're just hanging out in Golds. Well, let's see, what are we doing? Today on the show, what I want to do for you guys is, as you know, I'm very, very big into holding the stretch, holding the contraction, doing slow negatives and positives. But today I want to focus on the stretch. Now, you may or may not know that stretching a muscle under tension is actually a very, very strong anabolic signal. Just literally holding the stretch for several seconds will trigger growth, even without the other portions of the rep, because it's actually been shown in studies where they've actually attached attached resistance to the wings of birds, where it was hanging on the muscle for a long period of time, and the wings actually grew, the muscles grew within the wings. So this is just something that happens in humans as well. So what I want to do is I want to show you guys some of my favorite stretch movements, maybe one for each body part, and show you how I use the movement. Some of them will be a little bit special, some of them will be very basic, but I want to show you how I do the movements to get that extra stretch and how long I will hold the stretch during the movement to get this positive growth reaction. And it's definitely something that you guys can definitely use in your own training to break out of stagnation, to create more muscle soreness, to force that fiber damage that will create muscle growth.
And you'll be the model today.
And I'm going to be the model today because today
rare.
nobody is here to be training with us.
You have to do it.
So I got to do it myself while Dave films.
I want to talk about the Legion real quick. This weekend coming up is the Ultimate Warrior, but the following weekend, the following Saturday, so yeah, a week exactly when this is going to go on, the Legion's in Long Beach is going to be their second year. So you're going to be there.
Yes.
And you have athletes in the show also.
Actually, Candace Carr, who
She did it last year.
she did it last year. She placed third.
Nice.
She was 7th in the Arnold this year.
Wow.
And she wanted to keep going. And her goal is an early Olympia qualification.
Yep.
She just missed qualifying for the Olympia this year on points. So we want to go for a victory. Hopefully we're just going to bring her in the best shape of her life and then see where the cards fall. That's all we could really do.
But this year's a little special because you were actually asked to do something for the Legion, which is really cool. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Legion is over 2 days. It's November 9th and November 10th. November 9th is really like the expo and a lot of the other sporting events that are involved. And the show itself for all the athletes competing is on Sunday.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's a 2-day event. And the promoter, Chris Menez, a good friend of ours, actually called me one day and said, "Hey, Eric, I'd like to run something by you." And he told me about the seminar that he's going to be holding, the Olympian seminar, on Sunday in between the pre-judging and the finals. And it's going to have champions like Linda Murray, Jay Cutler, Danny Hester, it's going to have Boyana.
Yeah.
It's going to have Ashley Caldwell. I mean, it's going to have everybody who's been, in
Olympia.
the Olympia.
Yeah.
And everybody's going to be talking about a different portion of like contest preparation. And what he asked me to do is actually to be the special presenter and talk about really what the nuts and bolts of not only contest preparation, but just what you can do as an athlete, maybe a beginner, an intermediate who doesn't really know everything about how to qualify for national qualifiers, how somebody qualifies to turn pro, how you qualify to go from pro to the Olympia, the difference between the organizations, the advantages and disadvantages, how to formulate your own diet plan if you're not working with a coach, how to handle peak week, things that you need to have with you at the show that you should always have with you. Just the basics that will really just give you a good foundation of knowledge that a lot of people just don't have. And then of course I will be bringing a little bit into the seminar about hiring a coach, what to look for in a coach, the right coach for you, and what having a coach is like as opposed to doing it on your own. So I'm very, very honored that Chris asked me to do this, and I thank him publicly for that. So that will be again on November 10th. I believe the seminar starts at 1:30 and it's going to be about 2 hours long. I'll be the opening presenter. And then after everybody has presented their portion, there'll be a Q&A with all of us. So it should be just a tremendous event. And actually, I believe that if you purchase a ticket to this, which I think is like $45, but you have to look on the website.
Yeah.
And I think you get to go to the seminar, prejudging, and final. So it's a really great deal. So definitely go on centerpodium.com, click on the Legion, and check it out and see what it's all about. And I'm looking forward to it. It should be great.
Congrats, man.
Thank you. Okay, so this first movement I'm showing you for chest is obviously a flat dumbbell fly, which I'm sure many of you have done before. As you can see, when I lay back, I make sure to put a small arch in my lower back, raise my chest up high, get the rib cage expanded. I come down very slowly in a comfortable arc. And as I come to the bottom, as you can see, I settle very slowly into the stretch. I don't just drop into the stretch. And what you could do, it's very, very subtle, but I actually lift my rib cage up. I push it up a little bit higher to increase the stretch. Once I do that, I'm going to hold that position for at least 3 seconds, sometimes longer, to get that full stretch under tension. And then I do not push too hard out of the bottom because we're in a deep stretch. You don't want to compromise the shoulders. And I go with that same arc to the top to a full contraction. A very, very great movement for the chest. Okay, so we have the basic close grip pull down, which is a great stretch movement because the hands are close together. So when you come to the top of the movement, instead of just going to the top and coming down, as you can see, I'm holding the stretch for 3 seconds. But what I'm doing is I'm making sure that I'm letting the shoulders really release out of the socket. And by doing that, the lats are able to stretch a lot further than if you kept tension in the shoulders. So you have to really just learn to let the shoulders go, so it just the weight is pulling up against you and forcing that really deep stretch in the lats. And then of course, you come down under control, you squeeze at the bottom, you arch the lower back, you put the chest up high to get a good contraction, and then again, return to the stretch position. Another great movement to stretch out those lats. Okay, so now we're going to do a stretch move for the shoulders. It's very, very hard to get a good stretch on the shoulders, but this movement works really well. Set an incline bench, as you can see, back to about 60 degrees or so, and lay back on the bench. Let your arms hang straight down. As you can see, in the beginning of the movement, I'm actually sort of trying to bring the dumbbells together under the bench. That's not going to happen, but you actually, by pulling the dumbbells together, you put a good stretch on the lateral delts. Hold that stretch for about 3 seconds and then raise out to the sides until you reach parallel to the floor with your upper arms. Then go back down controlled into that stretch position and hold it for another 3 seconds. The stretch isn't as big as you will get on like a chest movement or a back movement, but it's just enough to create that reaction that we all in the muscle, and it's a really good builder for the lateral and the side delts. Okay, so here we have an incline dumbbell curl, bench set again to about 60 degrees. But this is unlike a regular incline curl because what you can see that I'm doing is actually rotating my wrists outward. And what this does is it forces a stretch, a very, very deep stretch, all the way from the shoulder, down the bicep into where it inserts near the elbow. What I also do, as you can see, when I hit the bottom of the movement and hold that stretch, is I force my rib cage up high again. And again, by forcing the rib cage up high, you increase the stretch a little bit more, and that's what we really want to do. We really want to force that unusual, painful stretch. We want to hold it for about 3 seconds, and then come out of the bottom under control, come to the top and squeeze. This is a really, really painful movement for the bis, but it works great. Okay, for the triceps, we have a single arm overhead cable extension. You can do this with a dumbbell as well. I just used the cable today. And what you can see, obviously, as I'm leaning my body away from the side that I'm working. By doing this, again, we're increasing the angle of stretch. So you get a better stretch when you lean your body to the side this way. Also, what I'm doing is when I'm in the stretch position, I'm actually trying to force my elbow back a little bit more behind my head. Obviously, do not overdo this and injure your shoulder. Do it just enough so you can get that extra stretch. This will depend on your flexibility in your shoulders. Hold that stretch again for about 3 to 4 seconds. Come out of it under control and come to the top and get a good squeeze. A tremendous move for the triceps if you're looking for growth.
Marlon, it was nice for you to do the exercise today.
Yeah, it was actually it was good.
Was it fun?
I haven't done that in
for
a
you?
while.
Yeah.
I get to demonstrate them exactly the way I want
I
to
know.
do.
You look big on camera. You'll be impressed when you see it.
Good. That's what I want to hear.
Because you know people will talk shit. So. All right.
They'll talk shit anyway.
I know.
But anyway, yes, it was a lot of fun doing that. But
so, of course, this episode is sponsored by INSURE, your partners at the
Yes.
INSURE Fitness group. So, what do you got today for us?
well, today what we wanted to talk about is, we've gone over the different types of insurance and we've gone over what the insurance policies cover, but we wanted to kind of give you like some real world examples of
good.
what might happen, so that you can have a little clearer picture of how the insurance works.
Yeah.
So they gave me a list of some things that they have had to deal with. I'm going to relay those to you. So these are definitely things that I could definitely see happening, and actually, interestingly enough, they're the examples that I'll give. It's like you wouldn't even necessarily think you'd be covered for stuff like this. So they're very interesting examples. So the professional liability coverage. So here's a great example. It's good for a client who may not reveal some crucial information to you before they start working with you. For example, like that they may be pregnant, they may have a prior injury that they didn't tell you about, and then you give them an exercise that exacerbates that injury, which you never would have given to them had they revealed that information to you.
Right.
So in those types of situations, you will be covered. And that's very important because there are probably a lot of people out there who don't give you all the information for whatever reason they don't want to, and maybe they even forgot, but that's on them, that's not on you. General liability works in a case where a client maybe slips on some water in a gym that you're working in and it wasn't cleaned up properly. And they may blame you, but you're covered for that,
Wow.
And I could see that happening many times, and we all know that a lot of people spill stuff on gym floors.
Yep.
The gym doesn't get to it right away, and it just sits there, and people can't fall on it. So, of course, you guys know also that there's rental damage protection. So it keeps you covered for property damage to a rented room or space that you're using. Which an example would be like somebody, let's just say that you're renting out a space to train a client, and that you're using kettlebells with them, and they're swinging around the kettlebells and they decide to let go of one, flies into a mirror, cracks the mirror, shatters it.
Yeah.
You're covered for that.
That would not be good.
Yeah, I mean, because obviously that could be something that's expensive.
Yeah.
But it's good to know that in those cases where if something like that happens, you're not like, oh my God, I got to pay for this. You know that you're covered. You have no problem whatsoever. So,
Nice.
Again, that's another real world situation. Product coverage. This is an interesting one. It can protect you if a client has an allergic reaction to even a cleaning solution that's being used in the gym. That's something that you don't know how they're cleaning the gym. You don't know, and a client may not even know whether they have an allergy to something that's in the equipment, and they could get sick, and then they could find that it's because of that. Again, you're covered. This is not on you. Very, very important to know. Again, now the stolen equipment coverage, which is part of the policy, protects you if, say, your car is broken into, say you're carrying. I know that when I was younger, one of the things that I did when I trained people in their homes is I would actually carry equipment in my car to their homes, barbells, dumbbells, bands, different things, just in case they didn't have equipment.
Yeah.
And not that it happened to me, but it very easily could have happened to me. If your car is broken into, somebody sees the equipment, they want the equipment, they steal it, you're covered for that as well.
Nice.
So that's definitely a great thing to know. Let me just see what else. So basically, yes. So for all the above, everything that I mentioned, the INSURE Fitness Group covers everything. It's all for the same. It's all under the same umbrella for that same low price of $169 per year. Again, if you use my link, you get $10 off.
That's in the description below.
Which will be in the description box.
Yep,
which is,
click it.
I'll just say it's insurefitness.com / Broser.
Yep.
But again, it's in the description. And again, I urge you, listen, I say it over and over again, but it's worth repeating. If you're a fitness professional, personal trainer, massage therapist, Pilates instructor, any of these things, you're working hard at your business, you're trying to build a business, don't skimp out on insurance. It's so important to have it. Just like medical insurance, just like anything else.
It's like car insurance.
Like car insurance.
You hate to pay for it when you don't need it, but when you need it, you're glad to have it.
Yeah, and something like this is, I mean, so affordable.
I know.
I mean, $159 a year to be covered for all of this. And you could, again, if you haven't watched previous shows, go on INSUREfitness.com and look at the coverage and see that it's significant coverage. It's as good or better than any coverage in the industry. And it's worth it because, you know, you don't want to have your livelihood taken away from you. Again, it's how you pay your bills, maybe how you feed your family. It's something that you could have built up over 20 years. You don't want to lose it overnight. So again, for $159 a year, to me it's a no-brainer. Make sure that you're covered. And also go to INSUREfitness.com, even just, if anything, to check out all their articles, all the tools they have for trainers, all of the, you know, different ways they show you how to use social media, build your business. Just a tremendous company, the INSURE Fitness Group. So go and take a look. And again, use my link if you want $10 off on your coverage.
Can people leave you questions in the comment section if they have questions for the next show? That may happen also.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, on the Jay Cutler TV channel. Yeah. Well, I mean, if there's
so if you have any comments or questions that you're a trainer or you're someone who could use that you have questions, please leave them in the comment section.
Yeah, I'd be happy to answer it. I mean, I work very closely with them now. I think I mentioned on the last show I'm going to work even closer with them starting November 1st. So yeah, if you have any questions, either leave them in the comment section or email me at bodyfx2@aol.com.
And you can answer them on the next show for everybody.
Yeah, and I'll answer the questions. If you have any questions about the insurance or what it covers or any advice that's needed, I'm here for that. So
awesome. Thanks, Biggie.
All right.